And welcome everybody to One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And this morning we have our dear friends, Ira and Julia, and they're going to kick us off with some music.
All right. Everyone is holy. Everyone needs love. We all need some help to rise above. Everyone is holy. Everyone needs love. We all need some help to rise above. When we love one another, it's holy. When we give love to each other, it's holy. Reaching in, no, checking in, reaching out past the sword and shield, turning round, find a place where our hearts can heal and see that everyone is holy. Everyone needs love. We all need some help to rise above. When we love one another, it's holy. When we give love to each other, it's holy. When we love one another, it's holy. When we give love to each other, it's holy. When we love one another, it's holy. When we give love to each other, it's holy. When we love one another, it's holy. When we give love to each other, it's holy.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it is holy. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Thanks for kicking us off. And now I'm going to invite our practitioner of the day, Lissa Lazaro, to say a few words and pray us in. Although that's a prayer.
What a perfect song to start this service. How we love one another. And it's interesting because I want to talk about that a little bit. But at any rate, I was thinking about how November is a month of gratitude and harvest and being grateful for everything that has passed during the year. And we tend to think of that as being only good things, but sometimes the things, as our wonderful singers pointed out, there are things that happen, those little angel synchronicities that pop in that move along and let us know that love is always in action. But I was thinking about how we move in seasons. I mean, we have winter, fall, spring, and summer, and those are all seasons with their own particular aspects. And I think that we move through life that way in many ways, in terms of the seasons that appear to be joyful and the ones that perhaps don't look so joyful, but may be really meaningful and teach us something great. And so at any rate, I was thinking of that in terms of love, and the fact that when we say love, I think what instantly comes to our mind is the positive thing, that feeling that you have suddenly or for a long term in terms of something, in a sense, just a child that you love, or the books you love, or the people you love, that it's like that instant feeling. But then there's that other feeling that comes, I think, which is kind of another level of love, which is compassion and empathy, when you are linked with someone in the sense of that things may not be going so well with them, and you are able to be supportive and bring love to them, and that leads the way in terms of easing their pain, or healing them, or whatever. And then one of the things that popped up for me when I was looking at this was that when I was working in adoptions and as a social worker with foster families, and I remember that part of the things we used to talk about was that for foster parents, that love is action. And I think that's true. Love is action. And I began just kind of thinking about that in my life and in our circle here. And I thought about all of the things that each and every one of you have given me in terms of your own love coming forth, in terms of what you talk about, or what you do for others. And I thought particularly about Relaine and her peacock, and how her love of animals moves her. And it's like love makes you take action. And her love of that bird did wonderful things. And on the same vein, Nan shared with me that as you all know, she has recently had surgery and has been recovering. And she has a very large dog who is very difficult for her to handle sometimes, even on good days. And obviously, immobilized, she couldn't. But she was very fortunate to find a young man who loves dogs and happened to have lost his own dog recently. And so he took over care for this dog, and the dog moved in with him for this time. And he and the thing that I'm trying to say is that this young man is young and loves dogs and is active and able to take the dog to the dog park and walk him and everything. And Nan noticed how happy her dog was. And so she's actually considering just giving the dog to this young man. And that's out of her love for the dog and her sense that this would be a better and more happy life for him. And I think that this is just a real example of love. And then, of course, we have our own Renata, who has cared for foster children forever. And she's just every Sunday is just there as just a model for us of love in action. And so I think that I'm very grateful for all of you and all of the people, and I have a feeling that since it is the month of gratitude, it would be of value for all of us to consider the people in our life who demonstrate love in action, either to us or to somewhere else in the world. And so I think I could move from that into prayer. So if we kind of pull together, take a breath. I'm grateful for knowing there is one life, one power, one presence that lives inside each and every one of us and all of creation. And that power is love, the electricity that creates and moves life. And I speak my word for all of us who live and breathe in the care and protection of that love force. I know that we navigate the cycles and seasons of life and are grounded in that sense of putting love into action, and that know that all is good and love always shows us the way. And I'm so grateful for this, and I'm so grateful for our opportunity to be together and to live together in spirit. And so I release my word into the law, and we can release together by saying, and so it is. Our November affirmation. I welcome the changes of this season with an open heart. I trust that every ending carries the seed of a new beginning. Gratitude grounds me and grace guides my way. I am aligned with the gentle rhythm of life's unfolding, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Lissa. Lissa, I'm just so glad you talked about love as being action and movement. That's so wonderful. And it so describes the principle of love being expressed into form. I just love that. And how it doesn't just touch us, it touches everyone. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. That was beautiful. All right. How about some more music? How about some more music?
How about some more music?
I love that, and also thank you so much for highlighting the members of the community, because it is, for those of us that get to pop in from time to time, it's really, really wonderful and really provides such a strong connection to understand more about all of you individually and what, not just what makes you tick, but what makes you as awesome as you are. We get to experience little bits and pieces here and there, and Lissa, just sharing what you did about the members of the community was very, very powerful, so thank you for that. We started with a song that really reminded us to love our neighbors as ourselves, and this is a song that also turns it back inwards and reminds us to give that love to ourselves, because we are needed.
It's so isolating to ride upon this cycle with the fear of being idle, with my anger on parade, and saying that I have no time. I limit my lucidity, become an addict to validity. I take myself out of my prime. I have time. I have time. If I step out of the story, then I get the chance to see there's a bigger picture here, something more for me. I am here and I am needed. I will stand up and be greeted by what comes my way. I will fill my day with love, with love, with love, with love, with love, with love. Always justifying my existence, always chained to my reactions. In a moment of resistance, I might get some satisfaction. And saying that there's not enough, I'm holding on to scarcity, clinging to adversity, as if I've got it rough. Well, I have enough. I am enough. If I step out of the story, then I get the chance to see there's a bigger picture
Wow. That was perfect. That really was. Such a reminder that we matter, that what we are an indispensable part of the whole, and that what we hold in our hearts is powerful, and it creates the upliftment of all life. That was beautiful. Thank you for kicking us off with that. Well, I guess it wasn't really a kickoff, but you know what I mean. So, oh, I'm all filled up already. We can almost just call it good now. Or I might have a few words to say. So I am gonna backtrack a bit and say good morning. Good morning again. One Heart, One Mind Center for Spiritual Living. And as I like to say, and as we all know, we are this very connected and loving community. And what I love about us is that we're always open and ready to touch more hearts, to serve more lives by sharing our love, that connection. And we welcome anyone who is seeking a friendly and a supportive space to deepen in their divine nature. So, as always, whether you're here in real time or if you're listening to the replay, we welcome you. So, as Lissa kicked us off or just opened us up to saying a few words, she mentioned that November, this time of year, this fall season, has a really unique energy. It's the energy of the harvest, and it carries the essence of change with it as well. It's a time to gather what we've sown already, to reap what we've sown, and to release what no longer serves us. And in every spiritual community across the nation, probably across the world, November is really a time of gratitude. And even in today's world, when we can pretty much get anything we want in our supermarkets any time of the year, it's still a wonderful tradition to individually and collectively pause and consciously give thanks for the harvest in our lives. To focus on that quality of gratitude, to have a time of thanksgiving, to give thanks for the things we've already received, the things that live in potential and divine mind and we want to draw forward, and even to give thanks for things that are challenging in our lives. Again, Lissa spoke to this. They too have their purpose, right? Even when it's not obvious to us at the moment. These are the things that are tapping us on the shoulder to direct and guide us. So today's message is all things move towards love. And from a metaphysical perspective, this must be true. It has to be true. All things move towards love because love is the inherent nature of life itself. We often use the word love as a synonym for God. And what may appear as opposition or decay is often just life's way of dissolving what no longer serves the greater good. Ernest Holmes reminded us that the divine cannot contradict its own nature. Love always seeks to express more of itself through every condition, through all of its creation, however it shows up. In the Science of Mind text, Ernest Holmes wrote, and I thought of this as I was writing about life and how it unfolds. He wrote, "How do we know the will of God? We do not, other than this. The will of God cannot be death. Why? Because if we assume God to be the principle of life, the principle of life cannot produce death without destroying itself." So life always moves towards a greater expression of itself. Life does not produce death. And death is merely a change of form, a releasing of structure. What science calls entropy is a breakdown of form and a return to the source, to the potential of life. And on the other hand, life produces expansion and creation and divine order and love. And it balances itself out. And this is the deeper story, I think, behind this season of harvest and of change that I'm talking about. You know, as the days grow shorter and the natural world begins its turning inward, we get to celebrate Halloween, a holiday that wears the costume of death, but secretly honors the continuity of life. You know, ancient people who marked this time understood that endings are never final. They're thresholds. Beneath the masks and the falling leaves, love is still at work, transforming what was into what will be. I have to say, I love Halloween. I really do. I've always enjoyed Halloween. There's something about it that it's touching that place of us that wants to talk about these hard things, but we're doing it in a fun and joyous way. The meaning of the word hollow means to perceive the sacred through the veil of matter, to be able to look into life and see the source. It's almost the namaste greeting. The God in me recognizes and honors the God in everything. It's kind of to sense the eternity, the infinite within the temporal, within the physical world. Very metaphysical. Maybe that's why I like it so much. Halloween gives us permission to playfully look, as it seems, that the things that we really don't want to talk too much about in our culture, you know, scary stuff, ghosts and goblins and death, and what lies beyond the veil, the world of the unseen. You know, but truth is, like everything, when brought into the light of love, these things aren't scary at all, but they're just unknowns. And so they might make us feel a bit uncomfortable. So at Halloween, we get to look at them in a whimsical, kind of joyous way. But I've noticed that they still interest us at some level, even though they're uncomfortable for us to talk about. I mean, honestly, we don't talk about death. We don't talk about what happens as the body gives way. It's not something that our culture does easily. You know, but I think all of us intuitively know that there's something more to life than just what we experience with our five senses. And the playfulness of Halloween leads us to that deeper meaning that lies just below the playful joy of it. So, you know, today, Halloween's been really relegated mostly to the kids and the trick-or-treating and the costumes. But the truth is, Halloween originated from a blend of different spiritual traditions, including Christianity. And it's always been considered very sacred and celebratory. It's actually one of the oldest holidays, going back thousands of years. It most likely originated from the Celtic holidays of a holiday of Samhain. I don't know if I'm saying that right, where the Celtics believed the veil between the two worlds was at its thinnest, allowing spirits to come visit us. I don't know about you, but spirits visit me pretty much every day. But it's fun to be able to acknowledge it as we celebrate Halloween. You know, and today, what a lot of the things that we do to celebrate this holiday come from the Celtics, the costumes, honoring the dead, the change of the seasons, the moving of life into a new phase. All of that comes from the Celtics. And, you know, as always happens through the centuries, many other influences have been added. But even as Halloween changed and morphed into the way we celebrate it today, it's always pretty much carried the same message, you know, that life and death and light and shadow are all a part of one continuous cycle. You know, from the Celts' sacred honoring of the Samhain to the Christian remembrance of saints and souls, which was yesterday, I believe, All Souls Day, All Saints Day. I think today is All Souls Day. And to the really, you know, the really colorful altars of Dia de los Muertos, cultures across the globe have always paused at this time of year as summer turns to fall to acknowledge the unseen, to remember that love and life extend beyond the veil of what we can see, to acknowledge that death isn't fearful and that what we call darkness is simply another aspect of light, that love never dies. It only expresses itself in a different form. I think Halloween gives us a playful way to celebrate the inevitable change that we experience in our human lives, to acknowledge that endings are always new beginnings, and that all things return again and again in an endless cycle of love. This is just a fun way to celebrate it. That both the unseen realms and the physical world we live in are one and the same. One is God in potential and one is God in expression. But no matter how life changes, everything always moves towards love, because love is the nature of life. There's some rich stuff for us in the celebration of Halloween. It's not just for kids anymore. And I don't want to skip over the idea of harvest either, because that is definitely the energy of November and the energy of this time of year. Because there's definitely some rich stuff here, just like in Halloween. And typically we think of harvest as something that we show gratitude for. And yes, we are grateful for the harvest, for the physical harvest of our food, and for the metaphorical harvest of our affirmative prayers and our spiritual practices. But as I was putting this together, I was thinking about, there's another aspect to harvest that I think gets kind of overlooked sometimes. Harvest is also a time to just be in the moment, to enjoy the fruits of our labor. I think too often we don't really allow ourselves time to really be in the joy of the harvest, to celebrate our successes, even our small victories. I know for myself, there are times when I'll have a demonstration for one of my affirmative prayers, and I'm immediately off and running to the next one. And there's nothing wrong with catching that wave of momentum and being inspired, but let's take a breath and honor this part of the creative process of life. And to me, honoring the harvest, whether it's our homegrown tomatoes or the unexpected income we received as an answered prayer, it's still good to pause and to feel how it feels to know that all our needs are met in this flow of the goodness of life. And rather than winning the championship and immediately start talking about the next season, there's a time for every season under heaven. Harvest is a good time to just be present. The older I get, the easier it is for me to do that, but I'm still kind of often running to the next thing. I'm a doer. But I'm learning that there is such value in sitting in that fulfilled prayer, in that demonstration of good. To be in the moment is to bring our full awareness into the now, to meet life as it's unfolding in all of its cycles and all of its pieces. And harvest is a part of that unfolding, a reminder that this season offers both completion and new beginnings. We can sit there in the presence. Being present means we aren't pulled by the regrets of the past or driven by the anxieties of the future. And we don't deny the past or the future. We just choose not to be ruled by them. When we're truly present, you can feel it, our attention, our breath, our awareness, and most importantly, our heart come into coherence. They're all in the same state of being at the same time. Everything within us aligns in that same sacred state. Gratitude, love, joy. This is the holy instant, as the Course in Miracles calls it, when life is happening. It's a point of power. Holmes reminded us that all the power of the universe is within us. Feel it, know it, then act as though it were true, he told us. And what better time to anchor that knowing within us and gather new seeds than during this season of harvest, when we're filled with joy and gratitude and that living presence of love, all things move toward love. So I read a story. I went and looked for a story. I found this one. I thought it was pretty good. I read a story about the time when the Los Angeles Lakers, this was back in the 1980s, they had just won the NBA championship. And they were in the locker room after the game, and their coach, Pat Riley, I actually don't have any idea who that is, but that's his name, guaranteed that his team would win the championship again next year. And they did. They won it again. And that following year, Coach Riley in the locker room again was being interviewed, and he was about to make the exact same prediction when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar grabbed a towel and kind of playfully stuck it in Riley's mouth. And Jabbar said later that he and his teammates just wanted to enjoy the victory, at least for a while. He wanted to be in the moment of the harvest, to honor it, to savor it, and just be present with it. When we have a moment to experience that sweet harvest of our good works, it's so important, I think, to stop and just mindfully be in the full experience of the presence of divine expression. You know, this is why we have holidays, to take that moment. Birthdays honor our lives. You know, anniversaries honor our togetherness. It's just that pause. Christmas, honoring the divine within us, being born anew. I mean, all holidays seem to give us that time. And Halloween, as crazy as it may seem, is a time for us to just stop, honor the harvest that's going on around us, playfully know that there's the veil is thin, that we are one with both sides of the potential and the form. You know, the science of mind teaches that there's one power, one presence, and one life. I spoke to this spiritual principle last week. I talked about the universal expressing as the individual, unity from multiplicity. And there are many ways we can express this principle of oneness. Ernest Holmes called this process spirit, mind, and law. Spirit is love, the motivation behind creation itself. Law is mind, or the mechanism that makes love flow into form. Holmes said, and we use this line all the time, but it's so true, love points the way and law makes the way possible. So if Holmes and so many other religious and philosophic traditions and even quantum physics are right, and I believe they are, that means the universe itself is self-organizing toward love, toward harmony and unity and wholeness. Even when things look chaotic, something deeper is happening. You know, just like a river, I spoke about this in the meditation, just like a river that always knows how to find its way to the sea. There's an inner intelligence or a current of spirit that is always guiding everything into an alignment with love. I love that about life. You know, I was listening to a podcast. That's my latest thing. I love to listen to podcasts. There's some good ones. I was listening to a podcast where John DeMartini was being interviewed. And he said something that really stuck with me. And it felt like an answer to a question that comes up so often as metaphysicians, which is, what about the stuff that looks like evil? Why do good things happen to bad people? You know that question. If everything's always moving towards good, then what about this stuff? And as much as I truly do believe life moves towards a greater expression of love, there are times when I pause in the face of challenges, the small challenges that we face in daily life, you know, challenges with abundance or relationships or health or my work in the world. You know, all these things do have challenges. And also the things that seem so much more devastating in the larger world. Horrific things like war, starving children, greed and avarice. These things are obviously out of harmony with love. So what about them if all things are moving to a greater experience of love? And DeMartini said something that made sense to me. He said that underneath the experiences we have in our human lives, every perception, every judgment, behind all life, throughout the cosmos and behind every human journey, there is a hidden order waiting to be realized. A hidden order waiting to be realized. He said that disorder is simply missing information. And order is the reclaiming of that information. And this makes so much sense to me. He said that most of us, and I realize this is a little heady, but these are his words and it took me a minute. But he said that most of us have a computational boundary in our ability to identify the information that's missing. I'm going to say that again. He said that most of us have a computational boundary in our ability to identify the information that's missing, meaning we just can't see the grand design or the big picture all the time. We don't have all the facts. We do not have that grander view, and we can't seem to put it all together. So we tend to see things from this chaotic or disordered perspective. And then DeMartini went on to explain how asking ourselves empowering questions helps us to reclaim the information that appears to be missing. And I am a big believer in asking ourselves empowering questions. It does help to pull back and see the larger picture. It helps us to see what's in the way of love's expression, but it doesn't help us to know exactly how love is going to express itself through the reality of what that is clearly not in harmony with the divine. It does help us when we need to shift into a new consciousness, because underneath all human experience, love does want to express itself in form. And I don't want this to sound like I'm dismissing the things that we see in our lives or in the world in general as, oh, well, this is just happening so love can be revealed. I'm actually saying this is a call to action. How can I personally contribute to this shift, to raise the collective consciousness of humanity into a higher vibration of love? And all we have to do is hold it in our heart and see it in every situation, even when it's difficult. And then we can move into action when we're called to do that. And what I came away with from listening to DeMartini is this, and it's pretty simple, really. The answer, the missing information in the midst of what feels like chaos and disorder, is always love. There is no other answer. You know, does this thought, does this feeling, does this action lead to love? Do I feel love as I'm holding this thought? Do I feel like I want to express love when I see this person? Or am I judging? Am I writing a story? Am I making commentary? The answer is always love. No matter what's in front of us, all roads lead to love. Because at this point, I know too much to just sit back and wring my hands and say, isn't it awful? And I'm not saying that we have to drop everything and all run out and become Mother Teresa. But you might remember that last week I spoke to the idea that we live in a reciprocal universe, that we may think we're just being observers of life, but we are all participants. What we think into the collective consciousness matters, just like the Levins songs. We are powerful creators. And when many like-minded and like-hearted people get together and think love, think peace, and resist the temptation to push back when something seems out of harmony with love, when we practice forgiveness and love, peace in our consciousness, and follow that up with inspired action when we can, where we can, that's what changes the world. That's what we can contribute. I'm not saying that noticing that the world has bad stuff is just to sit back on our laurels. This is definitely a call to action. And that's why we celebrate the harvest. You know, revel in our demonstrations of good, because that's so powerful. In the rich moments of the harvest, that's when we gather our seeds. That's when we plant them into the fertile soil of divine mind. And what we know is already true and potential, because then we're planting tomorrow. We're planting tomorrow today. I think that was the name of a talk a few weeks ago. Every part of the creative process is sacred, and everything flows towards a greater expression of love. We can see it all around us. We can see it in the movement of nature. You know, the forest share resources through the underground network of their roots. Trees literally communicate and care for each other and feed one another. Scientists call it the wood wide web. This is love in action. This is what I'm talking about. Rivers find their way to the ocean no matter how many twists and turns they take, no matter how much debris they have to push out of the way. You know, and even when there's destruction like wildfire through the forest, new growth follows. There are seeds on the forest floor that can only germinate after their seed coats are burned off. Life heals itself. Life moves towards love. Nature is always looking towards balance, wholeness, and vitality. You know, oops, got to turn off my phone. My bad. When you plant a sunflower seed, it instinctively turns towards the light. No one teaches it to do that. That impulse to reach the light, to grow towards warmth, that's love expressing itself through its creation. And we all have that same impulse. Our soul is like the sunflower, always turning towards the light of truth, towards love, even when we take a few detours. So I'll close with this thought. Even when life feels chaotic, remember, beneath every appearance, there's a movement towards love. It might not look like it at first. Sometimes the river of life winds through some scary places, shadows, canyons, storms, a lot of debris, but the current still flows towards the ocean. All things move towards love infinitely. Trust that the veil between the worlds of the seen and the unseen is always thin. It's one and the same, really. The divine is always right where we are. Gather fresh new seeds from this year's harvest of good and plant them firmly in the divine soil of our own soul so that we lift up many hearts and change the collective consciousness to know that it is already love. Let me take a breath. I know that there is only good. There's only life. There is only the isness of the divine presence, and that we are all swimming in it. The river is moving us towards the ocean of good God consciousness constantly. So I speak my word for and about every person that is on this call and every person that is not, that there is a shift in us that knows only who it is, what it is, and what we are called to do, to express love, to be the love we already are. And together, as we come together in this collective consciousness of good, we change our world. So I'm just grateful for being empowered to speak such a powerful word, to be in the world in a new way, in the way of love. So for this and so much more, I just say thank you. I allow it to be. I release it into the capable hands of law. And together we say, and so it is. I gotta take a breath. I just gotta take a breath. Well, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed speaking these words to you because they really filled me up. So, my people, I'm looking at all those happy smiles. I love you all so much. All right, so does anybody know who's doing the sacred giving? Right. Rob, yay. All right. I'm on a new computer because this one apparently gives better sound.
I noticed it. You sound much better.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, I had this computer all along. I just didn't realize it was so much better. So go ahead, Rob.
Alrighty. One of the things I got out of one of our classes was I even forget who the author was, but just saying that every morning you should come up with three things you're grateful for. Well, that seems like very low level novice gratitude, but I needed to do that. And I have been doing that for many, many months. And I noticed that one of the things I am really grateful is this group of people you see it before you. And I am grateful to you for a number of levels. As Woody Allen once said, that 80% of life is showing up. But right now, I'm grateful to you for the other 20%, which is you're helping to financially keep us in place. So thank you for that. It means a lot to me. Thank you for your giving. And you can, as you know, you can either give through Venmo or you can send Michelle some money. And either way is very much appreciated. And that's all I got to say, except for do we have a?
Yes, we
Oh,
do somewhere.
good.
Okay, here it is. There we go.
And voila. It does say, I give with a grateful heart, knowing that spirit is the source and substance of all supply. I joyfully participate in the circulation of abundance. My offering blesses the world and returns to me multiplied. I am grateful and I am prosperous. And so it is.
There it is. All right. Oh, great. Whew. And as far as announcements, we had our first. Relaine did this discussion group. What was it called again, Relaine? It was beautiful. Does anybody remember what the name of it was? It was just this lovely title, and
Joyous expectancy of being me.
Oh, that's it. The joyous expectancy of being me, which was lovely, and we had a wonderful discussion about joy. And she'll do it again at the end of November. I believe I checked the date. I think it's the 26th.
Yeah, Michelle, I'm thinking that maybe it would be good to take a little break because of the holidays.
Oh, it may be.
Yeah. So maybe in January we can talk more.
Okay.
I was
All
thinking
right.
about that. But
We'll let you know when it's coming around again, but it was really good and I enjoyed it very much.
But the prayer circle is this week on Wednesday.
That's it. Thank you for telling me, sweetie. Okay, and then we'll have our Monday night prayer group, and we're going to skip Tuesday because we finished our book. And we're contemplating a new book. I have to tell you, I started reading A Pocket Full of Happy Money or whatever it is, and it's pretty powerful, but it's pretty deep. And I'm wondering if we want to do something a little lighter. So we'll give it some thought. Let's see. I think that's about it. We'll be at Ohm the first Sunday in December. I don't know exactly what the date is, but I'll put it in the newsletter. And thank you all for giving so much, especially those of you that have given unexpected income. That is always so appreciated. And I think that's about all I have for now. It's nice to see you, Betty. I see you came up on computer. Love to see you.
Thank you.
And I think that's about it. It's always good to see Ira and Julia, and we can always count on Sally joining us. That's always great too. So I'll come back to you, Rob, to do the benediction, and then we'll have the Levins do some music. That's okay.
Sounds like a plan. All right, this is our opportunity to settle back and feel the immense goodness that is all around us. that as soon as we turn our attention to it, it becomes so obvious and so wonderful and so delightful and so enriching and so perfect. And I am so grateful for this service today. I am grateful for our Lissa, who is so good at showing us the love that we have amongst ourselves. And I am so grateful to the Levins, who just their harmony is just so wonderful, and we get they bring so much to us. And speaking for as the treasurer, we get so much from them for so little. And thank you God for that which has been made available to us. And I am so grateful for our leader Michelle, who has this most wonderful message of love and tells us and reminds us that change is always with us. And the thing about living in God, that God is all there is and God is only good, means that change is going from good to more good, invariably, without exception. And if we see good going to bad, it means we're just looking short term, because long-term good only goes to good. And I am so grateful that I get to participate and live in this universe that is so wonderful and so perfect and so delightful. And it just doesn't get any better than this. And so I do say, thank you, God, for that which we have here. Thank you for the week that is coming for each and every one of us, that is so perfect, that is enhanced by this experience and just enhanced by our certainty that God brings us good every day, 24/7, all day, every day. I do say, thank you, God. I release my word, and together we say.
And
And
so it is.
Mhm.
Woo! Woo-hoo!
Ah,
Oh,
and so
there
it
you go.
is.
Excellent. Woo! I loved that talk.
Oh, thank you.
Halloween is just, we love that. Just that recognition
Of the holiness of
of
it
the
all.
holiness of the light and the dark coming together.
And we still get to play.
Exactly. And sing. You can play the game and you can act out the part, though it wasn't written for you. How you gonna stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool, when you tell somebody the way that you feel? You can feel things beginning to ease.
lovely call to action that you were
There
doing.
you
There
are.
you go.
Yeah.
I
Now
love
sing about
JT. One of my personal favorites. Well, I am going to turn off a recording. So if you're listening to the replay, thanks for coming. We gotta go ahead and